Hey guys, SoloBase15 here for a very special round 2 of the exhibition of the Grand Arena Championship. And what makes it so special? Well, let's take a look at my opponent, none other than QS Evil Devilfish. For those of you that don't know, I am the leader of 50 Dead Men Ewokin, a guild in the Ewokin family. Evil, my opponent, is head of the Howling Ewoks, another member of our family. So let's take a look at his roster and see what I'm up against today. First thing that we'll see is I definitely have the mod advantage going into this fight. But looking at his roster, he has 109 G12s, he has one more Zeta, so he's got the bigger roster while I have the mods. Now let's take a look at the Revan matchups. You can see for both Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan, I'm going to have the speed advantage. Then looking at his Yoda, I'm also going to have the damage advantage on that team as well. So all in all, it looks like I'm going to have the advantage going into the fights. So I said last video that I always want to start with the toughest team. And in this case, it's going to be a Kira Nest team. Again, you're going to see me sub out Plo on my JKR team just so that I can get in Ezra, get some extra offense, and get the assists going. Nest might be the damage dealer in this team, but the biggest threat at the start is going to be Chewie, because you can't let him get prepared and then be able to revive somebody. So my first mark is going to be on him, and we're just going to kill him before he even gets a turn. Now that the threat of a revive is gone, it's time to start picking off this team one by one. You're going to see that Yoda actually melts right through L3 thanks to all the added offense he gets every time he's called to assist. Next on the list is Kira, because she can dispel the buffs on my Jedi and at the same time call Nest to assist. Vandor's going to go down just as quickly here as Kira did, leaving just Nest. And the one nice part about using Jedi Knight Revan against Nest is Nest's health is slowly going to dwindle as you call assists and use basics, which is going to make her easier to kill. Evil is not using a tenacity build on his Nest, so as you can see I landed the stun with Bastilla, and now here I'm going to land another one with Revan, and what that lets me do is, well, prevent the counterattacks, because that's Nest's biggest threat to you at this point, is him counterattacking and stealing your protection, which is going to steal banners. And here we go with Yoda ending it in a perfect 60 banners against his Scoundrel team. Now that the biggest threat is gone, we're going to clear out this zone so we can see what's hiding behind it. And that means taking on a First Order team that doesn't have Stormtrooper in it, but instead Evil is using Special Forces TIE Pilot. Unlike my opponent last round, Evil is using First Order Officer, but as we talked about last time, my goal is to get him taken out before he even takes a turn. So we ability block KRU so he doesn't get his taunt up, and then we triple attack First Order Officer. Now normally I would use R2's AoE in that situation, but I need to stun First Order Officer before he got a turn, and that let my Scav Ray take him out before he gets to give turn meter to the rest of the team. Now with First Order Officer out of the way, we're going to move on to the next member. The next biggest threat is going to be First Order Executioner, so he's our next target. But first, I'm going to ability block Kylo here so that he can't use his AoE and feed turn meter to the rest of the team. That's going to clear the way for JTR to use the triple attack on Fox. It brings him down to the red, and Scav Ray has her big attack. So instead, I'm going to take out the TIE Pilot because it's not going to take much to take out that Fox. Now the Executioner's taken out, I have the two Kylos left. JTR is going to be able to control this match because both Kylos are ability blocked at this point, so it's really just saving up for the JTR triple shot and Scav Ray hitting with one of her specials, and that'll clear out both these Kylos here. The one unfortunate thing about the ending of this fight is I couldn't get BB-8's special off one last time, so I'm going to end up with only 58 banners instead of the 60 that I was trying for. Clearing out this section lets me see the back zone, which actually has Droids and B Bounty Hunter team. So I'm going to move to the top front and take out this section to see what we have hiding behind it. I have a lot of strong offense teams left, so I'm not too worried about overkill in this section. So I'm going to bring in Empire to face their Rogue One team, because Vader's going to get the speed boost from facing 5 rebels. My Thrawn is going to be fast and is going to be able to get the fracture off on Baze, and from there I'm really just going to be able to cruise and take out this team without any real problem. As you can see, I brought Death Trooper back into my EP team as well, because he really just adds so much to this team, and while he does make the Trooper team stronger, he's really going to help me out on my EP team, especially when I start facing the tougher teams in other rounds. As for this fight, I attacked Jyn first because she has the revive, and really that's the last thing you want. So I took her out. I have most of the team stunned thanks to Royal Guard, Palp, and even Death Trooper stunning members, and as you can see, Thrawn as well. So this team is now controlled. My next focus is on Chirrut because he's going to heal the team and we need to stop that. Death Trooper applying Death Mark onto Chirrut took him out quite easily and very quickly, and that's why he's so strong on this team and why I took him off the Trooper team. With only the 2 tanks left, my focus has now become on maximizing my banners and trying to restore protection where I can. Now, Thrawn is the only one that's going to let me restore protection, but as you can see here, I'm going to give it to Death Trooper, who's then going to apply the Death Mark and get Baze out, and really, this fight is over. And thanks to the heal of protection on Death Trooper, this is going to be a perfect 60 banners. We have the droids in that bottom section, and who knows what hiding behind this section, so it's really important to maximize the banners here against these 2 easier teams. That way we can afford to give up a couple banners when we go up against the droids, because it's just hard to get max banners against them. Evil Stark is faster than my Bosk and my KRU, so I decided to use Padme on this team. This is going to be the definition of overkill, but at the same time, it's going to let me finish with 60 banners again quite easily, and really never have to worry about the result. I took out Stark first to prevent him from using his special that gives turn meter to the entire team, because we want to stop them from really getting going. My next target is Death Trooper because he can clear all my buffs, he can provide healing immunity, he's got daze, and so he's just the biggest threat on the team. GK is going to call the assist to take out range. Then I'm going to take out Veers because he's really not a threat at all, but he's the next biggest threat. And from there, it's just going to be taking out Stormtrooper, who never really got to taunt because Ahsoka dispelled him immediately. This Padme team was really overkill in this fight, and you're probably not going to ever use Padme against a Trooper team, but I just trust who I have left, so I decided to go for the easy banners and move on into the back zone without any real problems. We have Night Sisters and Carth hiding in the top back zone. Grievous is going to be our biggest threat, so now that we have the entire back opened up, it's time to take him out. The reason I waited to take out the droids instead of taking this back zone right after opening it up is because seeing the entire board let me know that I could use my best team, which is my arena team and Darth Revan, to take out the droids and not really ever have to worry about the fight. Evil's droid team is built up fairly strong. He's got 5 Zetas sitting on the team. They all have good gear. He's got good mods on them. And so while I've never really threatened in this match because I'm using Darth Revan, his team is getting time to do damage and to steal banners from me, and they're doing very well at that. The droid team is a fun team to use, and it's a very strong team to use if you wanted it on offense. But at the same time, it's probably the strongest defensive team out there. One, because Grievous can build up his strength and take out 3 members of your team with an AoE. But 2, because it's almost impossible to get max banners. They have so many AoEs, and B1 just keeps going and going every time an enemy takes a turn. So, as you'll see here, I win without ever losing that much health, but at the same time, I'm only going to get 55 banners because not a single member of my team could finish with full protection. Hopefully my videos will show you that as you're going through these battles, droids should be the number one on your list for your defensive assignments, and sitting right behind them would be Night Sisters, who you're going to get to see in the next section. Evil and I have talked about GA strategy in the past, and in fact, I'm the one that convinced him to put droids on defense in the first place, and here it is coming back to bite me as I fight him. You'll also see this zone is going to look very similar to my bottom back zone as well. And this bounty hunter team is never really a threat, but you're going to see they do some serious damage to banners because of all the thermal detonators that they're applying. Unfortunately, thanks to the aura lead, I have no way to get to the bounty hunters that are throwing the thermal detonators, so I'm stuck attacking Cad Bane when Greedo and Zam are just busy stealing my protection. I'm going to take out Cad here, and unfortunately Aura is the first one that's come out of stealth, so I have to attack her until Greedo makes himself available, which happens right here. I'm going to focus Greedo over Zam here because there's always the chance he gets off that multi-attack when he uses his basic, and I want to try and avoid that. The rest of this fight goes fairly easy and fairly quickly, so let's talk briefly about First Order and how they work. You want Kylo masked to use his AoE to feed the rest of the team turn meter. At the same time, First Order Officer is going to be able to feed an individual turn meter, so give it to Executioner because he's going to be able to take out tunes with one shot at times, just like he does here. And with that win, you're going to see I only get 56 banners, but I got the promotion to the next league. So now that we're in Bronzium, let's do the last two fights and see if we can get the win. The last section is holding a Night Sister team and an Old Republic team led by Carth. I have my Bounty Hunters left, and I also have my Traya left. Bounty Hunters can take out Carth, but it's not necessarily an easy fight, and you run the risk of losing somebody. So, despite what happened in the last round, I'm going to take Bounty Hunters against Night Sisters again. Last time I admittedly made the mistake of focusing too much on trying to kill Daka, and I didn't get the contracts fast enough, and I didn't control their zombie, so their zombie became fast and was always taunting. This time I'm going to try and avoid that problem. The reason that Bounty Hunters are so good against Night Sister teams is twofold. One, they have two members on the team, both Jango and Baba, that can take out a tune so that they can't be revived. Second, they have the heal. As you saw earlier in this fight, Baba was brought down to yellow health, but Dengar's AoE immediately after brought him right back to full strength. Helping to keep Baba alive allows me to use his execute on Night Sister Spirit, taking away a huge damage dealer. Immediately after that, you can see I was able to attack Zombie and fulfill my contract. Then Jango was able to take out Daka, and so now we've killed two Night Sisters, and Zombie hasn't been able to bring them back yet. And that's the key to beating this team, and why this round is going much easier than the Night Sister fight from the last round. Now, there's only two left, but Talzin can still be a threat with her Plague, because you might finish with full protection, but you can lose the banners for not finishing with full health. So my goal for these last few attacks as I try and take out Talzin and Zombie is to try and apply some debuffs so that I can get some healing. That's why I'm using Dengar's special and Bosk's special at the end. I'm able to finish with 58 banners, which is a solid showing against Night Sisters. With only Carth left, I have Traya to attack with, and she's perfect to take out Carth. She's perfect to take out most teams, really, but she's going to isolate Zalbar right here at the beginning, and he's never going to be able to taunt, he's never going to get retribution, and I can just start picking off the team members one by one. Ideally, I would have liked to have a few more undersized wins so I could try and complete the feat. But winning the round is much more important than completing a feat. So don't risk it if you don't have to. As you can see, I was able to advance to Bronzium without even completing a second win. So getting the feat would be nice. It moved me up the leaderboard a little bit, but I don't want to risk a loss because that'll just hurt me more than a few banners from the feat would help. I've already heard reports from a few people where they said that they tried to complete the undersized feat in the first two battles and they ended up losing a round because of it. Don't do that to yourself. Get the win and then go for the feats. I really haven't said much about this actual battle, and as you can see, I'm winning fairly easily, and that's just because of the isolate on Zalbar. In fact, these battles against Carth are getting easier and easier, so I'm going to be transitioning away from the Carth team and putting the Geos in once I finish Brood Alpha, because Carth really isn't providing a threat to anyone. That's also going to let me put Mission and Zalbar onto the Kira team where they're going to recover even more protection, and that's just going to become a pain for my opponents to fight. One thing to note about this Traya team is there's no real protection regen, which is why I go in undermanned. But the one thing you can do is when Traya isolates an opponent, she grants protection up to one of her allies. And in this case, I gave it to Nihilus, which let him fill his protection bar. And as you can see there, I got 58 banners, one of them for a full protection unit. It's not because Nihilus had full protection, but it's because he had protection up when the battle ended. It's those little tricks that could end up winning you the match. Now, I won this match fairly easy because Evil completely forgot how guard works, and he messed up against my CLS team, giving me the win because it took him 2 teams to take down CLS. And yes, we let him know how big of a mistake that was in the officer's chat. So with that said, that's the end of the video and the end of this round. Thanks for joining me.